Get ready.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry I'm so out of breath. Oh dear. So I'm leaving the arch in here in Ullapool. Done a massive job trying to get this bike off the centre stand. It's on a slope pointing backwards. And because it's weighing so much and it was on the slope, and because I'm so out of shape, I couldn't get it to lunge forward and off the stand, so I had to give it a good old shove. I'm knackered now. But anyway, I'll catch my breath, and we have a lot to talk about kicking off from here. It's a beautiful little town. Very similar to Killybegs back home in Ireland, up near Donegal. Very similar. That hotel I'm staying in is nice. The rooms are a little small now, but they're unbelievably clean and they're nice. Nice view out over the bay. The food is very good. It's clearly a popular spot. The whole bloody town was in it last night. They were playing some live music. So it's a bit awkward when you're travelling by yourself, staying in these type of places, you know. So I had my dinner and then listened to the music for a little bit, and then some nice bikes. Ducati, oh, very nice. Jeez, he's giving it a bit of pump. But yeah, so I just listened to the music for a few minutes, and then I went up to my room, which was right above this kind of courtyard, because I had to rearrange all of my routes now for the next few days. So I was in emergency mode. So I was actually grand, because I couple bottles of Coke up to the room and opened the window and could hear all the music and the laughter and the crack whilst working on my routes without looking like a complete dork. Oh, you go, Gaff. Fair fucking play. Fair play. I tell you, I need to be doing that now. Pretty quick. That's one thing I've noticed now. To be honest with you, it's given me a bit of a kick in the arse. I'm only pretty new to this vlogging thing. I mean, I've made videos before, but I generally don't talk or do anything or show myself in them. So this is the first time I've really gotten into that. And I haven't really been looking at the footage till last night that I've been taking. I've just been transferring it to a hard drive so I can edit it when I get home, because there's just too much in it to do it on the fly here. That was my original plan, but it's just too big. It takes hours and hours to edit these things. But some things I've really highlighted to myself from watching some of the footage back last night. Number one is my voice. I didn't realise I sounded like that. I sound like a complete dork. I do have a cold, a very chesty, bad cold at the moment. And I've had it all through this trip. So I notice I'm talking through my nose a lot, and I'm hoping that's to do with the cold. Obviously I'm coughing and spluttering a lot, so I can't apologise enough for that. Wow, look at this. But the other thing I've noticed is that there's an awful lot of heavy breathing. Breathlessness, without very much activity. And I'm hoping that's mainly to do with the cold, because I may have mentioned it once or twice. In the last year, I think I've developed asthma. Never had asthma in my life before, and all of a sudden I got asthma. Exercise-induced asthma, of all things, from Mr. No Exercise here, because I was trying to lose some weight, and then the exercise brought on a cough that just would not go away. But I'm getting a bit worried now, because today is actually my father's birthday. My old dad passed away a few years ago, lung cancer, and but he had awful problems with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder or disease, I think it is, which is effectively chronic bronchitis or chronic asthma. It's irreversible. And because I used to work with my dad when I was younger, and I get very worried about him because he'd get out of breath very easily. And I'm hearing that in myself now, watching these videos back, and it's putting the bejeepers up me. And I've been to the doctor twice, and I always get the sense that the GP is just palming me off. I don't even get to finish what I'm trying to tell him, and he's, yeah, that's asthma. Sure, here's an inhaler, piss off. But the inhaler doesn't really have much of an effect, to be honest with you. It doesn't really, I don't feel any impact off it. And from the people I've met who have asthma, I've had it for all their lives, and anything I've read, they say that the cough usually clears after about 8 weeks. Between 6 to 8 weeks, and then goes away for a while, and then it can come back. But I've had this continuously, 24/7, for I'd say the best part of a year now. And after listening back to those videos last night now, I think I might have to go visit my doctor again and see if this is more than just an asthma. Look at this lad right on the wrong side of the road. So not that you are interested in my woes, but I was just saying it out loud for myself. Get this trip done, get home, and get to the diet and the exercise. I need to. That was the other thing. Watching the video back of me sitting down last night, I can't believe how much weight I'm carrying. There's no excuse for it. No excuse. I had lost all this weight a few years ago, and I let it slip and put it back on again, and I'm kicking myself. Really, I am kicking myself. So I know I can do it. I keep having false starts. So you know, the old weight, I know a lot of people struggle with it. It leads to an awful lot of other things. You know, I probably wouldn't have this asthma but for it. I'm hoping that the cold is, when that clears, that a lot of the stuff I'm seeing and hearing in the videos will clear up, because it's not pleasant to listen to, I'm sure. Certainly not pleasant having to live it. But anyway, yeah, so what? Get back to the roof, Don't want to put it down on things. So, as I mentioned yesterday, I had a look at the route. When I got to my hotel last night, I plugged in the route for tomorrow, because obviously today's hotel would have been the starting point, and it was telling me about 10 hours. And I went, no, that's not what I'm here to do, you know, because when you add in stops and lunches and stuff like that, that's a 12-hour day. And as you can see, it's wet today. The forecast is for rain. It's not raining at the moment, but the roads are wet from last night. So there's no way I'm going to do a 12-hour day in a piddling in the rain. So luckily, I thought I couldn't cancel my hotels, but the policy on the one for tonight said I could have cancelled it 12 hours before, so I had time. So I cancelled my Inverness hotel, and I cancelled the Moffat hotel, and that's the one I'm a bit upset about, because that's a biker hotel. I really wanted to get to that. But it also means I'm going to have to cut the Cairngorms and probably Moffat out of the trip and just stick to the raw NC 500. So today I'm going to finish up at the north. I'm going to go up to John O'Groats and Dunnet Head and all that today. I'll do Cocoa Mountain, but then I'll kind of double back on myself and I'm going to stay at a place called Torso, which sounds Norwegian to me, but staying in some weird looking hotel there tonight, but I got a high rating, so we'll see. I'll tell you, that booking.com is a lifesaver. The fact that you can cancel pretty close without getting dinged is it's very handy. But so we'll stay in Torso tonight, so there's some more time now. So when I redone the sat-nav today on the original route, it was telling me 10:15 in the evening I'd get in before putting in brakes. And now with the new route it's telling me 5:40, so I'd say that'll be closer to 7 o'clock. So it's still a long day, but it's considerably shorter than what it would have been. But I know what, it's 10:15 and a bit of a late start today because I was still fiddling around with things and had to try and find a shop to try and get something for this cold to try and knock it on the head. But I am feeling a bit sorry for myself now. But so then tomorrow we'll finish out the route. I might even go beyond Inverness. I'm not going to book out. I'm going to get something on the fly because then I'm more flexible. But tomorrow I need to be heading back in the general direction of Cairnryan so that I don't have too big of a stretch to do on the last day. My ferry is at 4:30. So I'll head for Inverness, see what the time is like, and then I might head in towards down Loch Ness and head towards Fort William, and then I'll always be back. I will have almost completed a loop then. I'll be nearly back onto the route I came in on. So that's the plan. That is the plan, my man. I tell you this much, if the Missenden flyer went from Ullapool to John O'Groats and down to Inverness in one go, hats off, my friend, hats off. You must have been banjaxed at the end of it. I tip my hat to you, my friend, because that is a long old day. I did reach out to him when my initial route, my route app was telling me 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours, and I reached out to him and I said, does this sound right to you? And he came back and he says, yep, no, that sounds about right. So at 9 hours I was kind of thinking, it's still doable. But when I sat and looked at it, I said, is that really what I want to do? A marathon driving session in crappy weather? No. So thank you, Mr. Missenden Flyer, for your feedback. It's very helpful of you. I should have listened to you earlier when you told me to keep the days to 200 to 250 miles. So anyone planning a route here, once you get up to about, I don't know, Skye, from there upwards, no more than 200 to 250 miles a day, and that means leaving at 9:30 in the morning. You get in about 6:30, 7 in the evening, depending on what you're like doing your stops. These roads are slow and there's lots to stop for and see, unless you're one of these guys that just likes to rip around it and not look at anything. What the hell? Well then, have at it, my friend, but that's not my cup of tea. My God, look at that over there. That is, I'd love to know if I'm gonna do this sometime in the car and do all these hiking spots, assuming I can lose this weight and get fitter. Look at this, beautiful. The other thing about the rain is it knocks any chance of you getting the drone out. You can't fly these things in the rain, it'll blow the motors, which is a shame. like, I don't think it would be too much. I know there's like a silicone spray or something they can coat electronics in that makes them waterproof. Like even most phones now are waterproof. I don't know why they can't do that with the old drones yet. You would think that would be a logical advancement for them. I've even seen underwater drones, little submarines. I'm not going to talk turning in 700 meters, so I'm not going to rip past this lad. But yeah, I need to think of a better system for recording out of the helmet as well. I don't think this microphone setup I have is very good. I think the sound quality could probably be better. I'll have to start researching that. Where is this bloody turn? This is, here we go. Is that a turn? Alchabui, I can't pronounce these fucking things. Alright, this looks rough and ready. I'll let this lad finish out his... Jesus, on a serious amount of these camper vans going around. I like the idea of them. I totally get them, but I don't know if I'd fancy driving something that big up roads these tight and narrow. Something of getting a motorbike up some of these, but took the great big yoke like that. Although I suppose the modern ones would all have little cameras and all on them now. But I wouldn't fancy doing something like the Apple Cross or something in a big, dirty, great big mobile home like that. It used to be tough to get around those tight turns. This is wild. Well, I'd be lucky with the roads so far. Like in Ireland, when you're on roads like this, they very often disintegrate really quickly, and before you know where you are, you're on a steep downhill track full of loose gravel and stones. And if you're not an off-roader, which I am not, it is terrifying. You can't stop the bike on it, you can't turn it around. These bikes weigh 350 plus kilos, you know, when they're fully fueled and you've all your luggage on them. I'd say I'm probably 400 at the moment. You cannot stop on a downhill, particularly a downhill with gravel. You can't turn, you just have to go for it. Not like a car. You can stop and you've got four wheels and the car will sit there all day. It's terrifying. What's this guy going to do? The passing stuff. Yeah, thank you. But I did it in Spain one time accidentally. Before I even owned a GS, I hired a GS. My first time on a GS. And I, you know, oh, these bikes can go anywhere. They can if you're a trained rider, they can go pretty much anywhere. But I was totally novice. And I started on a road like this, very similar to this. Wow, look at this. And I had my lovely wife on the back. And then the road started going up a mountain. And then it started to switch from tarmac to a little bit of gravel to tarmac to a little bit of gravel. Oh, and it was great because all the gravel was on the flat and it wasn't too serious, and I was feeling very like Charlie Boorman and Ewan McGregor, living the dream. And then eventually the gravel came back and I was starting to go uphill and uphill, and then it never went back to tarmac, and then the gravel slowly started to turn into rock and shale, and before I knew where I was two up on a heavy GS with road tyres going up a bloody gravel path up the side of a mountain with a sheer drop of about 1,000 feet beside me. And my heart was in my mouth. I couldn't stop, I couldn't go back down. I kept thinking, what the hell am I going to do when I get to the top and I have to go down the other side, two up? in this steep mountain full of gravel. With the mott in the back, like I'm screwed. And luckily enough, when I did get to the top, the road down the backside, there's Waldo, was tarmacked. And I was jammy, and it led us out onto a road. And when I knew I was safe again, I turned to the wife and I said, Jesus, my heart was in my mouth there. And she goes, was it? Aye. Totally oblivious. Look at this. Yeah, she was totally oblivious to the sheer terror and danger we were in. Which is probably just as well, huh? Ignorance is bliss. But look, let's get down here, have a look at this. I'll take a few snaps. I want to make sure that I try to get these batteries to last as much as I can. I've got 3 batteries to last me today. And the SD card I have, it's 120 gigabyte. So the actual SD card outlasts all 3 batteries, which is incredible. But I missed about the last 60 or so miles of yesterday, and it turned out to be the most epic in terms of scenery of all of yesterday's driving. It was stunning. Getting up into Ullapool was unbelievable. It was like driving through the Canadian Rockies. It was incredible. Well, what I imagine driving through the Canadian Rockies to be like, because I have never actually driven through the Canadian Rockies. Although if you ever want to watch some really good YouTube videos about somebody who has driven through the Canadian Rockies and pretty much everywhere else on the planet, there's a guy, I'm sure most of you know about him already, an Irish guy. I think he's from Lucan or Maynooth, so he's not too far from where I live. His name is Oisin Hughes. Good Irish name. Really likeable chap. Now, I've never met him, but he comes across as a really the type of guy you'd like to go touring with, you know. You'd have a bit of crack. Decided one day he was made redundant, decided to take the redundancy, went out, bought himself a GS, never driven a bike before. I think he called his motorbike Samwise Gamgee after the Lord of the Rings, and went off around the world. And I think he's done it 2 or 3 times now, and keeps each of the bikes he's used in his living room. It's savage. But he did all of Canada, and it's really good. It's really well edited, really well filmed. I don't know how because he's able to go back and talk to videos he'd clearly made, you know, maybe a year or so earlier, and go back into detail on them. And he wrote a little ebook on it as well, and it's really good. I can't recommend it enough. I've watched all of them. He goes to Mongolia, he goes everywhere. Everywhere in my tiny mind I'd love to go, but probably will never go. If only I thought of it when I was younger and fitter and had time. I'm near the end. You never know. But well worth it. I think he's, you know, I'd much rather watch something like that, that's well produced by a real guy doing a real trip, than watching something like The Long Way Down or The Long Way Round. Like, I mean, hats off to The Long Way Round particularly. I mean, nobody had done it before, and they spawned a generation of adventure bike riding, you know. I mean, BMW have a lot to thank them for sure, and KTM rightly fucked up. But you know, they had a huge safety net. I mean, they had money with production companies and medics and translators and fixers and everything, and it was a brilliant story, and it inspired a lot of people, myself included. But it's the guys who do it with fuck all, or do it with their own means, you know, by themselves, you know, on a Honda 50 or on a GS or on a moped, or they have to work their way around or something like that, you know. It's those stories I think are much better, and Oisin Hughes one is a perfect example of that. I found his videos just as well produced. The story was much better, much bigger, more interesting and more relatable and real than the long way around or long way down, you know. And then you have guys like Nick Sanders. Nick Sanders, he's a legend. He's mad as a brush, but in a good way. But I've met him a couple of times now, but he's a very interesting character. I think he's gone around the world countless times. Most famously, he's gone around it a few times on an R1, which, as any motorbike rider would know, is not the bike to be going around the world on. I've seen him drive. I mean, it's a pure out race sports bike, and he's traversing deserts in it, which is a testament to the bike. I mean, it just... Now, power off on these cattle grids. There you go. Window wet or lethal. But he's done it several times. He does it all, his own filming and editing. He finances it himself. He's hilarious. But have a watch of him. But I thought it was interesting. I think it was MCN got a bunch of these world travelers, you know, various people who did it, like Nick Sanders and one girl on her bike, and these guys have gone around on Honda 50s, all these different quirky people who had gone around the world in various types of motorbikes in various different ways. But they had the likes of Nick Sanders sitting there, and then they had Charlie Berman. And I think, you know, that's fine, absolutely fine. The problem I think I have, and that Nick Sanders clearly had, was that all of the attention of the reporter was focused on Charlie Berman. And that's not Charlie Berman's fault, that's the reporter's fault. He had all these other people there who had done far more challenging trips, with probably better stories to tell, who'd never got probably a chance to have a good media opportunity like that before. And who was he focusing on 90% of his time? Charlie Berman. The guy who already sold 3 or 4 books, and everyone knows the story, you know. It's, you know, why couldn't you shone the light on those guys for a while? You know, and Nick Sanders clearly got, because he was sitting there, right, there was Nick Sanders, the reporter, and then Charlie Berman. The reporter basically had his back to Nick Sanders, so you could see Nick Sanders kind of looking around, shrugging his shoulders, and then he eventually just says, fuck this, gets up and walks off. And he was right, he was absolutely right. Let's have a look at this now. That is spectacular. Yeah, this is Connemara type country here. Oh, those lads camping down there. Now if I lived here now, that's... Although I could probably do this at home somewhere. I'm sure there's places like this, loads of them. Camping down there. I like the idea of camping, but putting it into practice, whole different ball game. But yeah, so poor old Nick Sanders got the hump and left. Fab. Yeah, so I won't blather on too much longer now. I want to conserve battery and try and get, because like I said, I missed a lot of really good stuff yesterday. So I'm trying to give you a taste of all the bits so that you know what to expect, and you can cherry pick your own bits then. So I'm heading basically, I'm not long out of Ullapool, I'm heading further north up along the west coast. Look at this lad booting it along. Just slow down there, mate, you're gonna fucking whack somebody out. Look at this, what a valley. Jurassic Park. But yeah, I'm trying to give you snippets of everything. So I'm going to try and conserve the battery. I've been blathering on here for ages and burning battery. And I don't want just to miss some of the stuff, particularly when I get... Imagine if I got to John O'Groats with no bloody battery. Good God. I'll be kicking myself. Right then, talk to you later. Have fun. Have a look at that, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Beautiful mountains, lake. Like, I'm only 20 minutes or so from the hotel. Here's my amazing bike. So far so good. I've been trying to think of giving a good name to the bike. Is this loud now? I know you're supposed to call vehicles after a woman. And I tried to give it the name Eriu, which is an old mythical, I think, princess of old in Ireland, and her name is apparently the origin of Ireland's Gaelic name Éire, taken from her name of Eriu, but it's too bloody hard to pronounce. And there's nothing female about this bike. There's nothing feminine about it. It's like a tractor. I can understand giving it to a Ducati or an R1 or a Fireblade or something like that, but there's there ain't nothing female about this thing. These type of bikes are more like your best mate, you know, your blow before hose type of buddy. I wanted to give it a proper bloke's name like Titan, or the lead character from Gears of War, Marcus Phoenix. But I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. I might get it stenciled on. But this is fantastic. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on. Talk to you soon. Wow, I hope this is coming over on the camera. I've just got to the top of this hill, look. I've driven out into just a wilderness of mountains. Look at this. Incredible. It just goes on for as far as the eye can see. All I can see is mountains and coast and lakes. You know you're having a good day if your sentence includes all I can see is mountains and coast and lakes. That's how every day should start. Look at that. I'm going to start carrying a flask of coffee with me, and I'm just going to stop at these places and chill out with a coffee. That's what I should start doing. Then I wouldn't have to stop for coffee shops and petrol stations, etc. Only for petrol. Well, this is incredible. And I'm going to be in this all day. Unbelievable. You know, it wouldn't even matter if it starts raining. You know, I'm going slow. What's the hurry? I'm so glad I split the day in two. Because I can take my time at this now. Imagine I had to get all the way down to Inverness and I wasn't going to get in till 10 o'clock. I'd have to bomb my way through this. Now I can just kind of chillax. And enjoy it. My wife will kill me when she hears me using the word chillax. It does her head in when I combine two words. Interweb. That's another one she goes mad on. I keep calling the internet the interweb. It drives her crazy. This is amazing. Amazing. I'm retiring here. I was going to retire to Spain, but stuff that. Just buy an anorak. Live here. Anyway, back soon. What the hell is that? Biosecurity. What is it? Oh, very strange. I don't know what that is. It looked like some sort of biomaterial place or something. Don't think I got it on camera there, but it's these mad big long green tubular tents. I think somewhere along the coast today I pass an old nuclear power plant, so I'll watch out for that. Say it's still high security, so I doubt I'll get the drone anywhere near it. It's bloody shot out of the sky. Look at this, back to Mirkwood. More of the Middle Earth in Scotland. This is cool. This is like the the Kilgarvan to Ballylicky Road in Kerry. Very like it. I think that's what it is, Kilgarvan to Ballylicky. Check it out on the Google Maps, folks. Good road to do. This is some strange road. It's going up and down and in and around. It's all over the place. It's like it's winding through every little valley and nook and cranny of the mountain range. It's quite similar to like a giant version of the really deepest part of the Black Valley in the Ring of Kerry, if you've ever done that. It's like that, but on a massive scale. It's incredibly narrow, but it's safe. You don't feel, you don't feel any danger on it. But this is the problem when you're meeting the old traffic. But there's a lot of passing points, and people like you are pretty good with them, you know. But look at this. Could be in Kenya or somewhere. The trees look a bit African, don't they? That's what I'd expect to see in the Serengeti or something. The Serengeti in Scotland. Oh, this is crazy. What a great road. But it's places like this. This is one of the things I remember Oisin Hughes said it, and I think he's right. You know, God forbid if he gets into his old age and something happens where he can't get out and about anymore. It's trips like this that he'll have stored in his little memory bank that he can replay over and over again. And it's nice to have them in YouTube again, to go back and look at them when the day comes when you can't take the bikes out. You're too old and you have to play golf. You know? I mean, I don't think I could think of anything worse than ending up like a vegetable playing golf. True handicap. I never understand golf. Good way to ruin a perfectly good walk. And what's with the gear? It's not a sport. It's not a sport. It's a game. Look at this. It's a game. How can it be a sport and you're wearing fucking chinos and a and a jumper. Wow, that is gorgeous. Will I do this or play golf? Let me think. I'm trying my best to conserve battery, but I just can't not video record this for you guys. This is just too stunning. I mean, this isn't a road, this is a path. Look at it. How did I get away calling this a road? But I'll take it any day. This is perfect. But look at this. You can't make a mistake here, you'll be over. Yeah, this if you ever go down along down past Ladies View and then down the Killarney National Park Road down into Killarney, there's a lake very similar to this in it, but there's only a few points you can get this close to it. It'd be nice to have a road like this around it. This is incredible. But this is what I mean, like imagine trying to get a great big camper van up one of these, particularly some of the bigger ones. This is really nice. I'll stop here. Wow, look at that. Just driven around that. Beautiful. Don't think I have to tell you anymore. Get your asses over to Scotland and do the North Coast 500. It'll be the greatest trip you've ever done. Look at this. Look, all the moss covered stones. The cut granite rock, the weird gnarly trees. It just makes for a great atmosphere. I know it doesn't translate in video, but when you're here and you get the feel of the air and the smells and the daylight, and it's just beautiful. Very, very atmospheric. There's nothing like it. I don't think there's anywhere I'd rather be right now. I wish the missus was with me though, she'd love this. Although she's not mad about long days in the saddle, particularly in rainy weather. She likes Tiba and Andalusia and all that, but these are long days. Like, this is taking a lot out of me. She wouldn't be up for this at all. She'd like it, I mean, she'd like the scenery, but she wouldn't be into the long day on the back. I don't think I would either. As a pillion, it would be it'd be torturous. There's a van coming. Right, I'll try and conserve battery. I'm really keen to conserve battery for the whole day, so I'll try not to jabber on, but it's hard not to when you come into places like this and not want to show people.